I can bring the meeting to order at
I'm here, Karen.
6:20, Tamika.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Like to have a review the meeting minutes from July. The last time we were together was July 6th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of July 6th as documented.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? The motion was made and seconded.
Yes. There, out of the minutes, there is missing the whole last piece of the minute of the meeting, which was the discussion that Tommy brought with his discussion points.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right, but so those are relatively easily added, right? And could we vote based upon the requirement that those items be amended into the minute meeting?
Yes.
Can I ask what specifically you're talking about, Karen? Because I did go back and watch the recording and I tried to summarize, some of the talking points that came up about the tax bills and things like that. Can you just tell me again?
At the very end, Tommy brought up several items that he had on a piece of paper, and I know those, I remember some of them, but not all of them.
Right.
Okay, and that was during the recorded part of the meeting. I apologize. I don't remember that, but I'll go back and rewatch it and I can add to the minutes. So if you guys would rather save these for the next time, that's fine.
I think that's the best thing we should do, guys. We should wait
Sure.
until we get the rest of the meeting minutes.
So I'll withdraw my motion.
Withdraw the second.
Okay. Moving right along.
Darren, just
Yes, sir.
I talked with Alex and I am going to put those topics into an email to him to put on an agenda that we can discuss them as soon as, like the end of August or September or whatever the next meeting might be.
Okay. So we have one request that I see. It's interdepartmental transfer request for stormwater management. Tamika, everybody on this meeting got those notes?
Yes.
Pete, you got them?
Yep,
Tommy?
I'm good.
I have them.
What was the total amount, guys?
33,600.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
Well, so, all right, yes, I'll make a motion that we approve the transfer request as documented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. Now I open it up for any discussion, if anybody's got any discussion on it.
So,
I
all
do.
right, go ahead, Tommy.
The only question I have is there's no signatures or whatever down here, anything of who's,
Thanks, Tommy.
et cetera.
If I could clarify, so Donna was not in when I submitted this to you guys to get it posted. Donna was in today, so I now have her signature and I have Austin's signature on it. So I have obtained those signatures, and if you'd like tomorrow, I can resend you a copy of that document. I just wasn't able to obtain it in time to send it to you guys to post the meeting last minute.
Oh, okay, that answers my question. I'm all set. I don't need to see it then. Thank you.
And the total amount is, I'm having trouble finding it right now, but it's 33,000.
600.
$33,600. Yep, it's two amounts that have been combined into one invoice.
And that's that Weston and Sampson is also included in that?
Correct. Yep.
This is this related to the stormwater stuff.
Correct. It's specifically payable to them. And unfortunately, this, as you know, this was completely unforeseen. with the stormwater enforcement. And when this came through, you may remember they were going to fine us $22,000 a day. So the work that they came in and did to, bring us into compliance for now is what this essentially these services were for. And as you know, at the town meeting, we established that stormwater enterprise, but we have not yet found a funding mechanism. So at that time, we didn't have any funds to pay for this, but fortunately there was an overage in the OT line item. So we were able to transfer it over from there.
So
Okay.
Tamika, the invoice copy that you sent us was only for 29,120. Where's, then the previously billed was 4480. Where's that first invoice?
I do not have a copy of the first invoice that was sent to the Department of Public Works, but if you look in like the middle column of that invoice, it shows you the total, the 33,600. So what they did was the most recent one on June 30th was the 29 and change, and then the bottom, it shows you what that outstanding balance was on the invoice. If you'd like, I'm happy to grab a copy of that original one and I can send that to you guys too, but it was for the same services.
Was one for May and one for June? Maybe?
Yes, yes, that is correct. And the most recent invoice was for June 30th, and that they always, push forward the outstanding balances from the previous one. So this should be the last one that we have for FY23, because the rest of the invoices we've gotten are for FY24 now, for other things, not specific to stormwater.
Do we have any other discussion on this?
Yeah, I guess my question is why weren't we told about this? If we all knew about this impending letter, we all knew about it. Every single one of us on this call knew about it. And why does it take until July 20th or July 17th for us to find out about it? Again, communicate, don't roll your eyes, Austin. The fact is, this should have been told to us that, hey guys, we've called in Weston and Sampson. We're gonna need an interdepartmental or a reserve fund transfer. A heads up, an email, something.
Yeah, so thank you for the question, Karen. So I think we actually did tell that some actions were coming. I think it was just a matter of timing when we would be getting the invoice. I think when we were having, and this was before I started, I think when we were having the conversation about this administrative consent order that came from the EPA with the potential fine of $22,000 a day, the Finance Committee and the Select Board decided not to, I think funding the stormwater utility would be too much at the time. However, we knew something was coming in terms of whether it's $22,000 a day or having to have a contractor come out at the tune of this invoice. Now, the matter of timing, we told the EPA that we would get this work done, and they gave us until July 30th to get this done. They were able to get it done a lot sooner. So we thought we had some more time to be able to do this. However, it's just a matter of when Weston and Sampson had the staffing availability to get this done. They did ahead of time, which is great. Unfortunately, not great timing for us in terms of an interdepartmental transfer. Thankfully, we do have the resources to pay for this.
So what did we get for the $33,600?
So if you remember, as a part of the stormwater utility that was presented, I think it was a $210,000 budget. This is one of the many requirements that we have in our MS4 permit. So one of it is dry weather sampling of all the outfalls and screening of all the outfalls. So essentially, we have to go to all of our catch basins and outfalls and monitor if there's any sort of material that's coming out of those catch basins and outfalls. And essentially, they have to document that, take pictures, and then in our annual report for the MS4 permit, we have to provide those results. We also have to provide education to the community on, hey, don't dump things down the stormwater drainage. And then some of that is also maintenance and infrastructure of our stormwater utility, which also includes, street sweeping and other services that, unfortunately, we just don't have the resources to attend to with our normal highway department. That's why it's critical, and I'm going to ask in the future for this committee and the townwide support for a stormwater utility funding mechanism.
So we should.
I'm sorry. Tim.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pete.
So this invoice is for the vendor that did that work, testing the catch basins, preparing a report.
And they will be providing the report to the EPA on our behalf as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, Darren.
So should we expect a line item or change in the budget this next year for the, what did you say, 212,000, Austin? Is that what we're thinking?
So unfortunately, I don't think it'll be, so I think the intent, and I think the conversation that happened with this committee and the select board was, to take a look at at a fall town meeting for a funding mechanism. So, unfortunately, that also means that we lose, almost 2 quarters worth of, essentially stormwater fees that would be able to come in. So I don't know if we'll be able to have the full $210,000 budget for the upcoming or for this current fiscal year. So we'll have to, likely it'll be roughly half of that. So the associated fee would be, if in my rough estimates, it would be roughly half of the $70 fee that I think that was presented by former Director Buckley. But yeah, I mean, I think, that's one of the things that in our conversation with the EPA, they said, wait, so you're only establishing the fund, you're not funding it. So I think it would be incumbent on us to have a plan at this fall town meeting for that.
So regardless, we're gonna have a next year's budget. When we start that, there's probably gonna be a $212,000 line item somewhere in our budget to cover this years going forward.
Well, so yeah, so the budget would actually be in the enterprise fund that was established. So the associated,
Yeah, hold on.
the budget that was presented by former Director Buckley, listed 5 or 6 different activities, like I just mentioned, the catch basin cleaning, sampling, reporting, and such. And then, to fund that enterprise fund, there was an associated stormwater utility fee of a tune of, I think it was $17 a quarter. That would be added, just like your water and sewer bills, if you receive them, would be just another line on that quarterly bill that you receive in the mail.
I thought that's what it was. I thought it was explained that it was going to be an enterprise account and we're going to whack the water and sewer users again for more money.
No, so not water and sewer. It would be all parcels in the community.
All what's in the community?
Sorry, all property owners in the town of Rutland.
Oh, so it'll be on the tax bill, not the water and sewer bills.
It'd be in your quarterly bill. So some people get a quarterly water sewer bill, some people just get a quarterly tax bill. But the point is, it would be the same
A
quarterly.
lot of us get both.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, lucky you.
It'd be in
Lucky-
the same
lucky-
envelope that you get for all your other bills. You
More
would have
than one of them.
a new line item.
Okay.
Well, if that's the way we decide to go, that could be funded a multitude of different ways, correct?
Sure. I mean, yeah, you can fund an enterprise fund, from a general fund subsidy, from a utility fee, but I think the best practice and, what a lot of communities are doing is they have some sort of a formula to calculate, how much should be assessed to each parcel. And I don't think that the formula was that complex for Rutland. I think candidly, they just came up with a budget, and then, kind of assess that over 4 quarters for all the parcels. If you look at, for example, the town of Shrewsbury, they get really complex with it, depending on how much, pavement per se you have on your property and how much land area is on your property. We could get complicated with it. But I think they were trying to at least just establish something to tell also the EPA that we're serious about maintaining our stormwater infrastructure.
But
So,
it-
Darren,
it could
what
be
was it? I'm sorry, go ahead,
developers
Tom.
also who don't control their stormwater when they're developing, right?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit, Tommy.
I'm sorry. I said this could be a fee on developers also for their stormwater management when they are doing property development that doesn't get controlled real well.
Sure. So I think that would be incumbent on the town and our associated regulatory boards to look at mitigation in the development phase. That's also something that takes a little bit more planning and kind of thinking on the upfront part. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of that's probably also well past on some of these developers that have already kind of gone through that mitigation process. But again, this stormwater utility is one of the easiest and kind of best ways to fund it, because it's also equitable across all property owners in town.
Hey, does anyone have any other discussion on this? One more time, everybody's good? Like to take a vote on this. It'll be a roll call. O'Malley,
O'Malley, aye.
Rochelle,
Rochelle, aye.
Narwhal,
Aye.
Lynn,
Winika, aye.
and Ross, aye. We have nobody else on. Alex just called me and said he got out of whatever he just did, and he thanked us for going on without him. I said, well, we're good. All right, so that passed. And Tamika, would you like me to come by tomorrow and sign it? Are you available in the morning?
Excuse me, I will not be in the office, Darren, but Austin will. And then so if Austin doesn't mind just letting you in to sign it, that would be great.
I'll make him buy me a coffee. We'll be good.
Oh, boy. Sorry, Austin, I set you up on that one.
No, it's all good. Do we have any other
Yes. So we received our annual invoice for the Association of Town Finance Committees. So I just need the committee to vote to pay the $190 annual due.
I make a motion that we pay the bill to the Association of Finance Committees.
Second,
we have a motion made and a second to pay the bill for $190 to the Association of Finance Committees. Does anyone have any conversation about this? Would like to bring up anything? Okay. We'll start again. Peter,
O'Malley, aye.
Thomas,
Rochelle, aye.
Lynn,
Winika, aye.
Karen,
Narwhal, aye.
Ross, aye. All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to bring up? Austin, do you have an update on just for the committee? Because I guess they found a significant water leak and they were able to fix it. Could you just bring us up to speed? Because some of the people don't know about it. And it's a good thing that we found it.
Absolutely, yeah. So actually, this is a leak that has been known for a while. We routinely every year we have a company come out to kind of take a look at our pipes and identify any potential leaks. Unfortunately, prior to this fiscal year, the town did not have adequate resources just to be able to attack some of these leaks. So this was at a kind of a major intersection. This is also interestingly enough, at the corner of Maple and Main, and mostly a part of Maine, we have actually two water mains. And when they installed the newer main several years ago, there was a decision at the time to not just connect all the parcels, including, for example, the fire station and some other parcels, I think some of the houses in that area, to the newer main. So this leak was actually in the old main, and I think, don't quote me on this, I think it was in upwards of, I think 40 to 50 gallons a minute. So it's a pretty substantial leak. So we were hoping to repair the leak yesterday. So we had sent out something to, we were going to shut off the water service. Unfortunately, with some of these old mains, there's not a lot of good documentation. So when they dug up they found the leak quickly, they couldn't find the valve. So it took us a little bit longer to find the valve, and we completed the work today, and water was restored well before noontime today. So that leak is taken care of, and we'll take a look at some of the other infrastructure and water leaks that we have in town. So yeah, I think everyone knows we have a aging infrastructure. I think I put on our Facebook page that some of our records for our water infrastructure dates back to the late 1800s, which is really interesting. So we have a lot of work to do on that front. So whether it's stormwater, water, sewer, we really need to take a look at our infrastructure and find a way to improve it. Because obviously when we have things like this, it's affecting our ratepayers, but also just our general taxpayers.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else tonight? Thank you, Watson. Pete, you can say the magic words if you'd like.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Karen? All right. Motion made by Pete, seconded by Lynn. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Not having anything else, everybody. Thank you very much for attending. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys.